Has that ever happened to you guys? Lots of exposure to a bad element make you a little racist?
Yeah,
Lots of
I'm
what?
delivering pizza.
Really? What happened there?
Black people don't tip. And like during my period as a delivery driver, I started hating black people more and more. But
So-
after I left delivery, I realized how trivial something like a tip was. I hated them because they didn't tip. I didn't hate them because of a person. But
So-
that's the call Woody was looking for.
Yeah, you hated them as customers, not for the people they
Right.
were.
Right.
No, yeah.
That happened to
I'm
me.
not sure if it's racist, but I definitely judged customers based on their race, and it was just it was just true. Like certain races were going to be easier to get what I wanted done, and I preferred those races. And it wasn't always that I wanted a white person either. Like a Spanish person was always good to have because they'd have cash, or an older black couple was always good because they have a down payment and they understand how financing works. They'll have good credit. But like, I don't want a young black guy. He's just gonna have bad credit like 8 out of 10 times. It seemed like.
When the first college I went to was William Patterson in North Jersey, and I shaved badly. Anyway, it was William Patterson, North Jersey, and coming out of high school, I wasn't just not racist. I was almost anti-racist, like a crusader for equal rights, kind of thing. If I heard you tell a bad joke, I wouldn't put up with that, etc. And then I went to William Patterson, and day after day after day, my experience with at least those people that went to that school, right? This is black people from North Jersey in the Patterson area. They were bullies in sometimes. I remember I got on an elevator once and they wouldn't let it stop at my floor. They would just they physically blocked the door and they hammered the door close button. So I had to go up to their floor and ride down again. I used to spend too much time really in the arcade, and they kind of ruled the jukebox, and they would put quarters in and they'd blast. This is gonna sound so racist, but they blast the music they liked, and if you played something else, it was like, what the fuck? Like, this is our territory. To say gang is stupid, but it was like if you played, I don't know, Aerosmith or something, that was clearly frowned upon, and you could see them like scouting the arcade, figuring out.
Even Tyler fans around there.
Yeah, you could see them like which one of these people do we think is the one that didn't play Run DMC or whatever the fuck that was on. If there was a time in my life that I started to prejudice towards black people anyway, it was the same time I was having daily negative experiences with them. It was like they were focusing as a group to fuck up my opinion of black people and turn me racist. And after college, I was able to go back in my bubble and return to my equal rights thing. But it's shucks, act like I'm racist now.
You realize that there's shitty people in every racist society, and you just happen to deal with some of the shitty ones.
But at least this, I don't know, dude. There was just tons of bad behavior, and when in groups, these guys were so loud and so bullying, it would ruin your good time. If you ran into whatever 8 black guys together on this campus, you knew oh, okay, guys walking this way, you're going to the grass, motherfucker, right?
You're probably oppressing them without even knowing. Just oppression rays everywhere, coming out of your eyes.
No, but like I'm saying, if they're walking sidewalk wide, you go to the grass, bitch. Or, it's the lean in shoulder thing or whatever. That was the culture there. And, you live with that for a while and it's like, well, fuck, suddenly you see a group of 8 black guys walking your way on the sidewalk and you're ready to judge well, these guys are going to be assholes because every time this happens, they're being assholes. And, and so I've taken that little life experience of mine and apply it to what cops have. It's that times 10. I've told this story before, but in fast forward, I was working in this place, Leon's Men's Store, selling shoes. I'm waiting for my brother to pick me up in front of the store and take me home. I'm there with my brother's friends, and a short black guy comes along. He was younger than me, but probably stronger than me. And I forget what he did, but he walked by and maybe acted like tough or bumped me or something, and then I said something in return. Like, I wasn't looking for trouble. I really wasn't. I was just waiting for my ride. And he kind of started it, and I didn't let it slide. And then he comes up to me like super aggressive, like, "What'd you say, motherfucker? What'd you say? Say that again. What'd you say?" And I'm not feeling really tough anymore. Like, all my confidence was gone. Like, when this guy was like coming up in my grill, coming at me. And we're young, by the way. I'll say I'm 15. He's maybe 14 or something like that. But my brother's friend was 17. And he was like this. He was short, but he's really strong. And he's like, "You back the fuck off. You know, you're done. You know, I saw this whole thing happen. Leave him the fuck alone." And so this kid who was previously in my grill leaves and comes back, and he brings back a mountain of a man. It turns out that it's his cousin. This guy must have weighed 325 of muscle. He was gigantic. He was huge, and he has a vendetta against my brother's friend now because he comes back, right, with this guy in tow. And by the way, the mountain was the guy who was like being aggressive, but he had a flank of like 6 other guys. Like, he went to some place where there was a collection, like a small army, right? He brought a fucking bunch of Navy.
He went and got the militia, came back, huh?
Yeah, and they're ready to like 6v1 this guy's friend, and I'm like, oh no, like this is troublesome, and I don't have anything I can, like physically, nothing's gonna work out well here. This is a nightmare situation, and
I'd have to take
like,
the bitch route.
Say that again.
This looks troublesome.
So they're like coming down on us, like, you know, like, and I'm standing next to the friend, and I'm like, I don't think this is a horrible idea. Can't we just be friends? And my brother's friend, who's a little more street than I was like, you know, still acting tough, maybe sternly looking in return. And the police get there. I don't know who called them, but thank God. And Marcus Sternface. So the police come, sirens going on, and like 2 of them were there right away, and they like jackknife in the road, which is, you know, parking in like a V, and the lights are still going. They turn the sirens off, and they just break everything up. Well, the mountain is not done yet. Like, he's pushing back. He's trying to get justice out of this thing. Meanwhile, the injustice wasn't really that big a deal. Like I think the kid bumped my shoulder and I called him a fag. That might have been how it went down. It was something like that. Like, I was standing there doing nothing. He gives me one of those, and I'm like, fag. And then all of a sudden, it's like, what'd you say? What'd you say? What, you know? Like, can I just take it back? Like, I don't really need any of this trouble, you know? But I think.
How about you meet me in the pool? We'll see who wins this.
Yeah.
Let's swim this down.
I'll fight him at PAX. So, anyway.
So how many daydreams have you had about fighting him now?
None. I don't really think back on this one. But I still, the little me, like, I was tall because I had just gained some height, but like my biceps were the size of my wrist, right? That's the physique I had at the time. And anyway, the police come, they break it all up, and the guy's being really like rough with the police until eventually they cuff him. You know, they're telling him to move away from us, and he's refusing. Like he wants to stay within lurching distance, and, you know, so he could like throw a Superman punch at my buddy or something, my brother's friend, really. And eventually they cuff him and they put him in a car. I don't know. I don't think they ever like did anything. They just wanted to get him away from this situation, you know, like travel away. And they put us in the back of another police car, but they did it to take us home. Also, you know, maybe just get us away from the situation. We weren't cuffed or anything, but we weren't violent. We were like, thank God you're here, you know, whereas the police were like, you fucked up my good time. The black guys who were fussing at us were like, you messed up my good time. We were about to kick some ass. So they put us in the back of the cop, and this I'll never forget. The cop, he puts his arm like across the seats, and he's like, and they wonder why cops are racist. And I was like, whoa. Like, you know, and I said, like, I was in high school. This was at a time when I was like, you know, not just not racist, but anti-racist, on the lookout for someone who, my daughter's like that right now with any feminism type thing. Heaven forbid you say a thing that is like a joke or whatever. She will sternly correct you. And that was my temperament at the time with anyone who had any hint of, you know, like, you know, not being, you know, totally level playing field with regards to race. And yeah, you wonder why cops are racist. That's what he said. And after having gone to college and had a similar, you know, 1,000 little micro experiences of bad behavior, it's like, wow, well, I don't approve of it, but I understand it. You know, like Sam Kinison used to have this thing, right? It was, you know, like, I don't approve of wife beating. I don't approve of wife. If you don't know him, he's a comedian that would scream
That was
all
Chris
the time.
Rock.
No, I know he had a routine too, but it's Sam Kinison I'm talking about. He's like, I don't approve of wife beating. It's wrong. It's not good. But I fucking understand it. That was his line, and I can see how bad experiences with scum of the earth the police get all the time makes them like they are.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.